Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special program we have created for you tonight. My name is Frances Klippel, and on behalf of Florence Regional Arts Alliance and Big Wave Poetry, we have a special open mic with our local poets and their original work. And this is all in celebration of National Poetry Month, April 2021. So I hope you enjoy listening and just have a good time listening to our talented local poets. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Annis Cassells, and I live part-time in Coos Bay, Oregon. I'm a poet, and I'm going to read a few poems today from my collection and then a brand new one. This first poem is about my grandmother. First Taste. The Cassells' home place cellar. Earthen floored, must scented, raven aired. Grandma Annie Castles and 10-year-old me. We heave wooden worn doors, throw daylight underground, pick our way down brick slab steps. Stand still, let our eyes adjust. She leads, bound for thick unpainted plank shelves, jammed against an uneven patched wall. She reaches for a dusty jug amongst canned pickles, peaches, beets. She pours a half-pint jelly jar 1/4 full. Grape juice. She savors a dark liquid sip. Ah. She passes the almost empty vessel to me. She cautions, just a little now, makes you feel warm inside. She stretches knobby fingers for the rest as the jar leaves my lips. We ascend, hugging peach and pickle jars, silent glances, sealing our secret. And this next one is nostalgia. I shimmy into threadbare denim, worn soft as a lady's hanky, and a red shirt embroidered with fish that once belonged to Kay, the one her daughters gave me after she died. I wrap myself in the pashmina Lynn brought me years ago, before she moved. I scramble 2 eggs in butter, like my mama always did. Eat from her delicate porcelain plate, a gift from me one Mother's Day. When nostalgia calls, I surrender. And this last one is a relatively new one, but I found it in an old binder, and so here it is today. It's called Perspective. Now that I am older, I see virtue in vulnerability, perfection's grasp slipping, its hold broken. Now that I am older, I taste a newfound sweetness of times once bitter or bland. Now that I am older, I smell crusts of kindness as fists unfurl, befriending, if only for a minute. Now that I am older, I hear my body speak the truth of past abuse. Muscles mock and say no. Now that I am older, I touch keepsakes from long gone days, stroke smooth surfaces, caress deep memories. Now that I am older, I see multiple perspectives from other people's worlds and empathize. Now that I am older, I hear tolerance in my heart, waxed, rib perched words, and I wait. Now that I am older, I taste the fragility of life, savor precious time with those I love. Now that I am older, I smell positivity in morning's dawn, possibilities, pungent perfume waltzing in the air. Now that I am older, I touch the future, illuminate the path for generations to come. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cyan Orr. I am a poet and part-time math teacher. I'm going to share 3 poems that all were inspired by lakes. The first one I wrote in Minnesota on the shores of Lake Bemidji. Wind wrinkles the skin of Lake Bemidji. Suckled on ancient ice, she scoured out her nest to birth the Mississippi. Her waters lapped new life onto these shores. Here she stood midwife to the birth of loon and bear. Here she is witness to the passing trails of men. She has cleansed the detritus of dark and grievous lives. Still she trades thunder with the sky. Still she reflects the passing of the sun. Wind wrinkles the skin of Lake Bemidji. Her face is gray and worn, but in her depths she spawns new memories to mist the morning shore. The second I wrote on the shores of Siltcoos Lake. It's called Yellow Irises. Burgeoning at the waterfront, blurring the border between lake and land, between lung and gill, small fish, prey, dart between the stalks, staying clear of that ominous border, watching the edge that means no breath, watching for lurking humans and herons haunting the shallows. The adults, crappies and walleyes, yellow perch and trout, drawn to the tenuous shore, sweep the lake with flitting eyes, on the lookout for hooks and lures, the burr of motors, and the widespread wing shadows hovering. The rush of an open maw following, signaling danger, a predator closing in, the silver trout leaps, daring the boundary, peering down at her own near death from an alien place, filled with too bright light, and the rush of waterless current pressing gasping gills. And the irises bow their orchid heads and toss the breeze aside. They are creatures of lake and land, rooted in one, breathing the other, guardians of the edge. And the third one is called Cosmogenesis. Looking out on lake and sky, I try to remember what I'm really seeing. Packets of light grains woven from strings traveling in the different wavelengths that my brain perceives as color, texture, meaning. Like the scattering of diamond tips across the water, the tiny electrons inside are dancing their probabilistic reel, attracting and repelling to create what I perceive as substance, solid, liquid, hard, soft, all just matter and energy. I can't see it. Instead, I see streaks of wind ripples on blue-green water, twisting the reflection of the forested hill beyond, with a valance of baby blue cloud-tufted sky curtaining the scenery, so that I breathe deeply, fully, as if to fill my lungs with the calm certitude of spruce fingers reaching. The fabric of space-time is a mythical quilt wrapping me in its potent analogies, but it's the warmth of worn cotton, the sweet, just laundered smell that moves me. The explosions of stars are light years removed from the sensual tremors of the touch and tug of human passions and compassions that drive me, nanosecond to nanosecond, through a time field that seems sequential and invariant. I understand how immaterial I am to an unfolding universe, how inconsequential the shoes I walk in. But I walk nevertheless in this skin, this bone, this flesh, made up of a few handfuls of cosmic dust, but caging the consciousness that renders me in one space-time moment awestruck at all that is beyond me, and in the next minutely focused on the pain of a rubbing shoe or a broken heart. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Karen Brown, part-time teacher and very part-time poet. But I have one poem to read tonight called I Remember Sunny Days. I remember sunny days at Virginia Beach as a child, where we rented rubber rafts and rode the waves all day and fevered into the night with sunburns. I remember sunny days in Montgomery where I rode my bike through the General's Garden to get to the base pool, where on Sundays we passed crosses burned in yards on our way to church. I remember sunny days in the Philippines where we rode our stabled horses through elephant grass and jungle, and sometimes met up with negritos, the native pygmies, carrying their naked children and blowguns on their way to the base dump to dig for food. I remember sunny days near Redlands, where I rode my little black mare over scrub oak hillsides, and air so polluted it obscured the sun. I remember sunny days on the Gulf of Texas, where I swam with my dog, and the beach filled with flotsam and jetsam thrown off the oil rigs in black plastic bags. I remember sunny days on the Oregon coast with 2 small children and 3 dogs, where we built sandcastles and driftwood forts until the afternoon wind came up and sandblasted our faces, especially the poor short-legged corgi. I remember sunny days in Palm Springs where my children learned to swim, where we played tennis, shopped, and hiked through red canyons. Now the 99-year lease is up and the land has gone back to the Indians. I remember sunny days on Greek islands where we snorkeled in azure water so blue it hurt your eyes, and climbed 1,000 steps to 14th century monasteries perched on skyscraper rock tops, while in the town below, garbage piled up into mountains in the streets from a 2-week garbage strike. I will remember this sunny day where I sat in spring breezes with a cat on my lap and a dog at my side and 2 COVID shots in my arm, glad to be here with 500,000 dead and wondering what comes next.
I'm Paul Klippel from Florence, Oregon. I have one poem to read that I wrote. But before I read that, I want to read the poem that inspired it. And the name of the poem that inspired it is by W.B. Yeats, called The Second Coming, of which I sunk very deep into and therefore was able to write my own. A note about The Second Coming: it was written in 1919, almost 100 years ago. And when he wrote that, it was the end of World War I. The Russian Revolution was ongoing. There was the Spanish flu pandemic. His wife was sick with the flu and she was pregnant. And the Revolutionary Irish Parliament declared independence from England. So his state of mind was there when he wrote The Second Coming. Fintan O'Toole quoted in the Irish Times, "The more Yeats is quoted by politicians and media, the worst things in the world have become." The poem is 164 words. It's one of the most quoted poems in the English language. The Second Coming. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconeer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming, hardly those words out when a vast image out of spiritus mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape with the body and the head of a man, a shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun, is moving its slow thighs, while all about it reel shadows of indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born? My poem is called Yeats's Poem Lives On. 1 century after the Second Coming, Yeats's poem lives on. It calls to us for our hands to remove the falcon's hood, breath to lift to her flight, thought to guide her to spiritus mundi, our unified song calling her return. Talons fiercely clenching words from beyond, words free from the fetish desires of clay, words unknown to shadow puppets echoing inside scrolling screens. Captured words from another place, from across the border, over the wall, through the razor wire, words tattooed on the soul. 1 century after the Second Coming, Yeats's poem lives on. The gyre cycle turning faster, ever faster, from center point to chaos, back again. Forgotten dead things spinning away, powers unseen reforming what lives. All life turning, turning in its time. Time, what's remembered? Centuries of human conflict, beholding God's faithful marching on political feet. History, the endless war of powerful men, clergies, kings, generals, corporations, scattering the hillsides with innocent bones. Buried inside the holy mountain, truth waits. 1 year after the second coming, 1 century after the second coming, Yeats's poem lives on. The gyre vision comes round again with digital twist and nuclear core. It spins round Gaia's arrhythmic beat. Her magnetic pole wanders on retreating ice, searching for what's been lost. The second coming, new beginning or cataclysmic end, prophetic warning or scientific fact, mythic beast or darkened soul. The master falconer knows, lifting veil from our eyes, we fly into tomorrow to see.
Hi, I'm Jeff Lovejoy from Florence. Can you hear me okay? Okay, this first is called I'm Trying to Write a Poem, and I think it was written last spring or the spring before. And once again, I seem to be unable to write new stuff. I'm trying to write a poem. It is true, sometimes the words and images flow as easily as a frothy milkshake into a glass, but at others, nothing. I look into my bowl of cereal for topics swimming in the milk. Dogs, more dogs, but maybe enough of them for a while. Politics and poetry don't too much mix in my world. Maybe there must be just times for the land to lie quietly fallow, so only dribbles of this foolishness come forth from tired fingers. Or maybe spiritual weariness is a topic itself, having climbed onto a Cheerio just so I would notice it. But the milkshake in my current glass seems more the type that is so popular now. Turn it upside down and nothing at all comes out. Perhaps cereal is not the place for good ideas, and so tomorrow I should go instead for bacon and eggs. This one was just after we saw another version of a Pooh movie. Benji was the last dog that we lost, just for reference. That movie, again. In Mr. Robbins' latest screen version, Pooh and friends teach him again that doing so-called nothing can, yes, turn into something. And so with poetry, one small precious link leads into another and still another until a train of images begins to head somewhere that seems, for the moment, promising. What we call our culture so values winning, achievement, success, and the like, but in human evolution terms, what's there to show for it? I recall nights when slicing a fresh banana and hearing my rabbit's noisy excitement was that day's highlight. And the same for the rest of our happy menagerie. I related to the whole out-of-date story with teary eyes as Benji was my Pooh and I his Christopher Robin. This one was written in Maine. We lived there for 17 years until almost 6 years ago now we've moved to the Oregon coast. It's called Final Moments. As I stepped into the shower, a moth spun in the cool October air, twisting in a spider's web. The sight struck fear, seeming to presage somehow my own death struggle, and I prayed that I would say farewell to life more gracefully than that. The twisting followed me into the shower, not letting me get clean or comfortable or warm, though the water spun around me in hot threads. Upon my stepping out, my hand shot fast to the window to wipe soft steam away. The spinning had stopped, and I dried myself in a moment of silence, happy for the spider, but feeling too much for the moth. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Angela Apodaca. I am a writer and a teacher, and I also do some acting sometimes. and I'm also from Florence. This first poem is one that I wrote actually about a year ago, and it's continued to evolve. And I think that makes sense because it's about a seed. I am a seed of movement. I choose warm, nourishing earth, sink in with ease, need space, wide and open, some quiet for me. Surround myself with other movers, dream dancers, close enough to hear a heartbeat. Then I see through your eyes. When you move, I move. I'm a traveler, you companion. I will fall away when I am ready. Take root in a place near or far from here. You, me, we. Pachamama, our earth mother, she taught me how to move like this. I have the next poem here is one that is actually a poem that I wrote with a group of people, a group of women. We shared dreams with each other, and then we wrote a collective poem. So this is based on my dream. So a dream dancing poem that is a dream dancing poem from this collective. Walking down a path, worriedly talking about math, in line for crocodiles, thrashing. We lock eyes with the crocodile, a journey into mystery on the path together. Billie Holiday, moonlight, weekend, party, drive, dance. Big crocodile, no fear, low riding through the mall. A fun Bolivian party tune plays. Crocodiles, low rider, mall. We exit, stage left, pursued by crocodiles cruising in a low rider. And this last one, I dedicate it to everyone that is watching and listening to this. It's called Universe Song. What heals everyone? The body is a drum. My heartbeat, your heartbeat, one universe song. Thank you.